The Reluctant Bride by Lara E. Sims. Narrated by Nathan Beatty. Copyright 2020 by Lara Elizabeth Sims. Prologue. October 2071.
Tommy, what's wrong?
Courtney Seabrook asked her husband. He had gone into his study to take a call from his mother, mouthing that he wouldn't be long, but that was over 2 hours ago. His mother was a fussy woman, who always demanded a proper conversation, but he had usually managed to get rid of her by now. What was even more worrying, Courtney decided, was that Dr. Thomas Seabrook, her dearly beloved American husband of 34.5 years, was staring vacantly into space.
Tommy, sweetheart.
She tried again. Still no response.
Maybe he's ill,
she thought in panic. Crossing the room to him, she knelt in front of him, taking both of his hands in hers. That was when she noticed the tears staining his cheeks. There was only one thing for it, she decided.
Thomas, you're scaring me, sweetheart,
she said gently. At the sound of the name he hated more than any other, he looked up.
Courtney, honey, how long have you been there?
He asked in surprise.
A while. I got worried when you didn't come back from talking to your mother,
she explained.
She wanted to tell me that my dad was taken to hospital this morning.
Courtney thought with a feeling of dread that she knew what his next words were going to be. She waited for him to find them.
He died a few hours ago. My dad died, and I never even got to say goodbye. I always imagined this moment, with me being back in New York. Sometimes there are no goodbyes,
she said gently.
Oh, I know that. In our jobs, we saw that all the time. But I always vowed it would be different with my own family.
Courtney was extremely sorry about her husband's pain, but mixed in there was her own grief, while her mother-in-law disapproved of her and made absolutely no secret of that fact. Alexander Seabrook had always been welcoming.
Did she say what was wrong?
Courtney asked gently.
No one can say for sure yet. There will be investigations, of course. He'll go to the medical examiner's office,
Thomas explained.
Does Amy know?
Courtney asked.
Mother said she would tell her. Do you think you could tell the children? It would be unforgivable if they hear about it from any of their cousins. But
Courtney nodded her understanding. The Seabrook family spanned both Europe and America. Thomas had 5 siblings. His sister Amy had emigrated to England, like he had, to follow her heart. Her husband was Courtney's cousin, Connor. Thomas and Courtney had 7 children and several grandchildren. Amy and Connor had 6 children. Jordan, the eldest of his brothers, had 3, as did Cara Lee. George had 4, and Oliver had 3.
Leave telling the children to me,
Courtney said. She wanted to hug her husband, but knew the time for that was not yet. He had come to her, and he would only do that when he felt completely vulnerable. She got slowly to her feet and hurried to do as he had asked. Chapter 1. Courtney considered long and hard how to break such devastating news to her children. They were all very fond of their grandpa. They marveled that he had ever married Thomas's mother, because they were such opposite personalities, but sometimes such marriages worked better than people with lots in common. That was Courtney's experience anyway. Not many of her friends agreed with that viewpoint. She could approach this in several ways. She could tell her daughter-in-law Georgiana, and she could break the news to Alfie when he finished his shift at the hospital. Then she remembered that Georgiana was at that stupid dinner party being thrown by Theodore's parents, meaning that Paris Brooke and Lindsay Scarlett would find out too. While that might solve some problems, it created others. An announcement in front of everyone was what she wanted to avoid. Theodore's parents had made it clear that they thought their younger son had married beneath him in choosing to make Paris Brooke his wife. Benedict's parents and Georgiana's, though in the same social class bracket as the King-Lakes, were not such snobs. Relations had thawed a little when Paris Brooke had borne 5 all-important heirs to the Kinglake fortune. Theodore's older brother Rufus had so far disappointed his parents in choosing not to marry. While hopeful that he would change his mind, they at least had 12-year-old Bentley to fall back on if they had to, scraping the bottom of the barrel, though that would seem. She could ring Phoebe, but she was currently pregnant with her and Wilbur's 3rd child. The shock could very easily send her into labor, which would be the last thing they needed just now. However, Wilbur's father, Dr. Samuel Marchbanks, had been Thomas's best friend since they were in kindergarten together back in New York. Thomas and Courtney were Wilbur's godparents, as well.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?